Drone in this box. Is it the DJI Tragic 2? No, it's not. Bought one. I returned it. Because I started seeing the reviews of the Active Track system not working very well, and I didn't even unbox it. We had it on the desk for about a week or two. Staring at it, thinking I can't return this, it's only just come out. But I did. Because what I really, really want is to follow me in low-hanging trees and things like that. Not massively, it's not like a tight little tunnels, but just in overhanging trees. And it was causing all sorts of problems. Whether they'll actually improve it, I do not know. So, what is in this box? There can't be many of these in the UK, if any. There must be a very, very low number. It is a Skydio R1. If you don't know who they are, go and look it up. Not exactly cheap, but it is built from the ground up to follow people, follow subjects, in fact. So it doesn't have to be people, it could be a car or something like that. And you connect with the app, and then it'll follow, allegedly. 13 cameras. But the video footage is more GoPro-esque than it is high quality, like the Tragic 2. So, we've got propellers which are bought extra. Came from the States, they don't ship outside of the States. I've already ripped the box trying to get it out. They only ship to Canada and US states, so they don't ship to the UK. So I had it shipped to a friend over there and they forwarded it on for me. Battery, so I've got extra battery and extra props. There's the battery there. The old light comes on. Amber, is it? It is. That's up the wrong way. There we go. There's the connectors for it. What's the spec, I wonder? Let's have a quick look. 4,480 milliamp hour. That's 68.1 watt hours. Outputting 15.2 volts. Let's pull this out and get rid of this lovely grey box. I mean, brown box. I'm colourblind. There it is. That's a drone. And so presumably put the props on. What a joker. Look at this. Got a piece of string for a handle. Oh, but it retracts. It actually retracts. It's designed to do that. And this is off center. So every time I've done that, it's ripped through the box. Can't you do that? Okay, I'll set that aside. Oh, look at that. Speechless. It's unusual. And in here, oh, hold on. Newness. Look, you got your little, spin it round. Got little things, look. So. Only thing to say about this, probably never actually going to go back in the case again, is it? You're not going to lump this round with you. So, as nice as it is, it does look nice, presented very well. Magnetic strip along here. So there's a magnet there, and there. Just about to see them in there, I can anyway. But it probably will never go back in here again. Looks like a USB-C charge port on it. Let's pick it out for the first time. Oh, look at that. Wow. So it's got a gimbal on the camera. I say go and look up other people's videos they've done on it. All the tech specs. I'm not really sure what this material is. I thought it was carbon fibre, but it isn't. Well, it doesn't look carbon fibre unless they've made it look purposely not like carbon fibre. And when does anyone do that? Cameras at the bottom, camera on the sides here, 2 of them. Cameras at the back, camera at the top, 2 of them, and yeah, 2 cameras at the bottom. So, and a big camera at the front for the actual recording. And there's the battery. And what does it say? Got a Wi-Fi, gives it its own Wi-Fi. So I presume it is flying by Wi-Fi, but of course, because it flies itself, it's designed to be flown fairly close to you. So this isn't going to be like your Mavics, where you go up real high and you get lovely shots. It's not very good for that. You can actually hold it by that if you want. That'll snap in a minute, won't it? I'll cry. Better not do that. Yeah, it's designed to really follow fairly close. So we want it for extreme camera, basically. Following you at sort of 20 miles an hour on an electric unicycle, bombing through the forest. That's what we want it for, and it looks like it's going to be really good for that, but we will see when we go and fly it. But it's looking good. Looks like there's little LEDs in there. Tell you something, I presume. Front and back, perhaps. Let's just set that down. Is there anything else in here? I don't think there is. But there might be. Oh, there is. Okay, of course. Cables, charger plus adapter, which will be American, hopefully, will accept 220, 240. A note from Skydio. I'm incredibly excited that you've purchased Skydio R1. Just don't think it's hand signed. Shame. I've downloaded the app already. Got this tail end of summer, so now as we're into autumn. So it's all rainy and horrible out there. And you can't fly this in the rain, apparently, from other people's reviews. Oh, okay. So that's USB-C, but what's that outputting? So we will need to either get a converter for it or match. What if that actually pulls out? No, it doesn't. Or match the output of this, which is an output, it's 5 volt. or 5 up to 9 volt at 3 amps, or 5 volts at 3 amps. Oh wow, it's variable. So 5 volt 3 amp, 9 volt 3 amp, 15 volt 3 amp, and 20 volt 3.25 amp. Interesting. Okay, so that's it shouldn't be problematic. We've got a 5 volt option on there. We got another USB-C cable, so probably USB to USB-C to USB-C cable, thing for cleaning the lens, and a USB to USB-C, so standard USB 3.0. Yeah, there isn't really a manual as such. The battery is held in place magnetically on the back of the R1. Wow. So just pull to remove it. The gimbal retaining clip must be removed, which is there. From the front of the camera. Keep it around to hold the front camera secure during storage. Okay, so it's not a sticker. I thought it was a sticker. It's actually not. It slots in. So that actually goes, wow, okay. Ooh, look at that. That is quite funky, isn't it? Wow, it's a different design. Probably get around painting, I expect. How easy is this to put on? Easy as that, except from I've done it the wrong way around. Should get someone else to do this, really, shouldn't we? Really, easy as that. Right, to tighten it and untighten. So you've tightened these with a nut on the top. So presumably that's the reverse. So if you want to take these off, you can undo the ring like that, and off they come. And they've actually got little recesses here, so they can slot in, and you can't get it wrong. Right, that's where we're going to get charged up. It's the only thing we can do now, get charged up. Let's try and pull a battery at the back like it says. It's just magnetic. Does that give me confidence? Not really. Maybe. It's not going to come out, is it? It'd be funny if it did. It'd be hilarious. Very small fuselage. What's the input voltage? No, so at 100 to 240, so it will work 50 to 60 hertz. So it will work in the UK, this charge block. You just need an adapter to actually plug it in, which is fine, because I got one of those. So I've got this adapter here, which will fit in. It's always important, of course, to check the input, and I've checked the input, and it's suitable for our UK spec, so that's all good. So I plugged the USB into there thinking that's how you charge it on board, not noticing that in this little thing here was a charging dock. Now there isn't a manual with it, which kind of makes it a bit difficult. We've gone online, spent some time reading it, couldn't see anything mentioned about this, came across it accidentally. So I'm going to put that there, I'm going to take this battery out, and hopefully that, wow, it's magnetic as well, I like that. She pulls it in. Can you see that action there? Look at that. With a rubberized bottom as well, so it should stand up right nicely. Oh, we've got some lights. Can you see them lights? There it is flashing, so obviously it's going to go all the way around when it's fully charged. So I think this brings it out of factory state now. I'm guessing, by reading the manual, it says it's in factory state. Let's just take this off, see if that's woken it up, and then plug it in. Oh, there we go. I will try and join the Wi-Fi network. So I've downloaded the app. So I am joining the network. Oh, gimbal's moving. And then this is the app. It says connecting. Pre-flight checks. Gives you some readouts. So it's 25% battery currently. This is actually loading. I'm not sure if it's actually clear. But there we go. Ready to fly. And now it's doing pre-flight checks again. So it says 4K, 30 frames a second, 1 hour, 42 minutes of recording. And now it's ready to fly. Tutorial. So we run through a tutorial. Spin up mode is taking off. Okay, it'll hover. I don't want to do this indoors. I could do, couldn't I? I wonder if it'll work indoors. I haven't read anything so far online said don't fly indoors. Well, I've checked online on the website. I can't see where it says don't fly inside. So we're going to try it out in the corridor. Bit more space, but still very, very confined, and just see what it does. Hopefully it won't fly straight up into the ceiling. Shouldn't do, should it, with the cameras? You'd severely hope not. Here we are outside. Going to give it a go. We were going to do it in the corridor, but it's quite noisy in there, and it wasn't that comfortable, because I don't know what this is going to do. It might just go straight up in the air, 100 foot, and then turn off. Who knows? So, we're going to give it a go right now. 5 seconds to turn it on. And it's a bit like the DJI. You've got to tap to follow. Tap stop at any time to end following. Ah, okay, you've got little toggles on the left-hand side of the screen and the right-hand side. One's height and one's zoom. It's all controlled by your phone, because it's supposed to be close to you almost all the time. Double tap to move to a point of interest. Okay, that makes sense. Move and turn by dragging the stick. Oh, fly now. Should we try it? Oh, there's the camera, auto calibrating. 22%, so to launch, just do that, it says. Quite noisy. It's in follow mode, so I'll just... That's working. Seems to be working. Oh, I'm flying it. Did it crash into a car yet? Hasn't crashed into a car, is it? That's fairly impressive. Whoa! We're going to get that car then, didn't they? I'm doing nothing at all. Is this going to get smashed up now? Okay, it's landing soon then. Ah, it's remarkable. And then it's showing me the footage straight away. Quite noisy. We've got a timeline here. You can see all the footage. Straight from the camera. Seamless. That is amazing. So it's picking up the audio, which you might even use for the overlay of this video. I like that. That is an absolute... How do I stop it? Stop. That is an absolute success, is it not? That is brilliant. So the next clip we'll do is I'll be out on a wheel, electric unicycle, go in sort of, I'll try it from 15 miles an hour up to 20 miles an hour and just see how it performs. But it came through all these trees, no problem at all. And we won't necessarily be riding, maybe that's the tightest we'll get. Everything else is above that. Anyway, it's starting to rain a little bit now. Can't use it in the rain because if dots of rain get on the cameras, it doesn't work properly. The camera's got to be clean and no water on them. So we have to go in. Several weeks later, I come back to the Skydio R1. I've been flying this thing like mad. Seeing what it can and can't do, seeing its pros and cons, and it's been, I'll tell you what, it's exceptional. It is a really, really good bit of kit. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, it hasn't crashed at all in all the flying I've done. It's been ridiculously stable. I've flown it in winds, I think it's 12 miles an hour maximum winds they recommend. I've flown it in higher than that. It does struggle to track real smooth at higher wind speeds than 12. Haven't tried to fly over water because it says don't fly over water. So I'm going to go through a couple of the cons before we get on with the pros with it. So low light conditions, so if you've got low hanging trees and you fly underneath and try and do that in low light, because it makes it even darker obviously because the sun can't get through at end of day, then it will stop and hover and say light level too low, please land, and things like that, messages such as that. So from that point of view, but if throughout the day, so in winds below 12 miles an hour and in the day, it works completely flawlessly. All the times it struggled with something because it got trapped in an area, then it just hovers there completely stable and it will either try and find you or just wait there for you to do your next command, and that's absolutely brilliant. So it's not crashed at all, hasn't failed in any situation, hasn't done anything wrong, it's acted exactly like you like to do. The other thing is just press on and boot it up and you can hand launch this thing, absolutely brilliant. Stand there, press it on, so you press it on, hold it like that, and then go to the app. It knows you want to hand launch it. It goes hand launching and it says take off, and you swipe up and it goes boots up. You wait until there's enough force and you let go. It goes up in front of you, turns around, hovers there, lights are flashing, and then it goes solid lights when it's tracking you or tracking an object, and it's always chosen me as the flyer, and that's it. You put your phone in your pocket, and then from the app you can change a huge amount of metrics. So you can have different types of follows. You can have a lead follow. You can have, well, you can man to man. You can have pretty much anything you want. They do cable cam, so A to B, and you can start from A or start from B, and it'll fly back and do it, and dead solid. This isn't, what this isn't is DJI Mavic Pro quality in terms of camera. So its camera is not, it's a Sony sensor in it. Go and have a look at the specs of that. The camera isn't that sort of quality, but what it does do is the exact design remit I've always wanted, which is something to follow you, so you don't need a controller at all, apart from maybe take off and set the perimeters. Put it in your pocket and forget about it, and just go. And especially as I'm not walking and riding an electric unicycle, get up to speed sort of 25 miles an hour, which this will do. Now, the more complex the environment, the more this struggles. So if you try and go 25 through complex environments, it will usually, so what happens is it tries to get, and it's brilliant at doing this, whereas the DJI stuff tends to go up and it's very rigid in the way it moves around obstacles. This sees it ahead of time and then moves around real smooth and keeps it, gimbal quality is spot on. Now the image comes out very flat, but there's a lot you can do with it. So you can bring the colours back in, which is great. It's really, really good. So the greens and stuff seem low, so the trees, and you can just bring them back up to exactly what it looks like from the human eye. So there's a lot you can do with the footage in post, which is quite good. So the more complex the environment, it will try and then go under a tree, big tree branch hanging down, say, and it sees that, it ducks under, that slows it down slightly. So the higher the speed, the more it can get behind you. You can actually outrun it in complex environments. Now in the open, I've taken it out and I've just absolutely legged it, and it's just follows you along. And if you keep a couple of things in mind, obviously if you're going for 25 miles an hour, this thing's tilting to try and push itself along. If you suddenly slam your brakes on, it it sort of woo, tips back. And this camera will tilt right down. But of course, if you want that smooth footage, you need to kind of keep in mind that what this can and can't do, and where it is going to struggle, like high winds, things like that. You need to, if you're doing it for especially video reviews like I do with the electric unicycles, you need to make sure that you keep that in mind and just play to its strength the whole time. But this is, I can't emphasize enough, this is absolutely amazing. And if you can afford to get one, contact them. I'll put a link below, and it's got a special link in there where you can get $100 off one of these if you use my URL, which is great. I just contacted them and said, look, if we do a video review on this, is there anything back? Can someone get something off if they use a URL? So they can. And we get $100, you get $100, we get $100. And what I'd actually like to do is save up and get another one of these so I can get twice the shots. This hasn't let me down at all. Now, I was carrying my little girl the other day, and there's probably a video overlaid right now of that. As I went to go and boot this up, I put her down as I was holding it. So right in the middle of the forest, and her foot kicked this out of my hand, and it fell from waist height, smashed onto the floor. I was like, oh no, you are kidding me, I can't believe it. And a few other choice words were said, and it didn't do, it chipped some of the paintwork off the front here, there. I mean, it really ditched. And I was like, oh no. But that's all done. The battery came out, hit the floor, battery came out, it scratched that up. But otherwise, the props were completely protected. It did nudge the edge of the camera housing there. It didn't damage it at all, so it didn't scratch the lens. Which one is it? Can't really see it, actually. It's ditched there. It's got a mark there. You can't really see it, to be honest. But it's a frame. The frame did its job. The way it landed and smashed into the ground, it actually didn't damage the camera at all. It was protected. It does protrude slightly, but of course the gimbal drops down, so it didn't do any damage apart from superficial. So I was well chuffed with that. It's louder than the DJI Mavic Pro, but I'm not even going to compare it to that. This thing is massively beyond any of the tracking capabilities of any of the DJI stuff. It's exactly what I've been looking for. It's absolutely perfect. And if you play to its strength all the time, if you're using it for filming like I am doing, and if you're just messing about with it as a bit of a sideline, just to have a laugh with it, you're never going to see any of this at all. It'll track whatever you tell it to track. So it'll track a dog. My husky, Bruce, I've got it to track him. Now they're pretty darty, they go all over the place. And so as long as its environment's not too complex, it'll follow him without a problem at all. And be able to switch between you've got lead, you've got follow, you've got orbit, so it'll go around you. Now with that, so if you're traveling along at 10, 15 miles an hour and you're trying to do it in orbit, and you've got trees either side of you, it can't do a full orbit. What it'll try and do is it'll try and close in that space, as it goes around you and there's something in the way, it'll actually bring itself into you or up and into you to try and do it. But obviously if it's really complex, it can't quite get around. What it does, it doesn't stop and says I can't do an orbit, it actually just follows you. It follows you until it can turn around. So the intelligence packed into this and the decision making, it always makes a really good decision. I've flown it a lot now, and I've flown it, I haven't really done anything, I just said fly, and said follow me in this manner, and it does. So the lead shots work just as well. So it's amazing to be able to ride at 15, 20 miles an hour and look ahead of you and have this drone hover in front of you at a point where you say you want it to be. So you can pinch and zoom to tell it how close you want it to film you or how far away you want it to film you. And so you can bring it into pretty much here. So whereas with the Mavic, if you get too close, the proximity sensor will say, no, it's too close to start filming, too close to start the track, active track. With this, it brings it to around about, it's just a little bit farther than arms stretch out where it will reach, which is almost like you're taking up the full frame. At that point, it's that close. It's almost too close. For the stuff I've been doing on the wheel, it's just a bit too close to back it out of its maximum, slightly, put it back. And so it'll do all those modes. It's got quarter follow, so it'll sit back behind you, but here, facing you. So it's got a slight side on angle. I mean, absolutely amazing. I'll just get the phone out now. So this is essentially the setup time. Now, this might not work indoors, but I take the gimbal cover off, press it on, like that. So that's now on. That'll do all its boot up stuff, and you can hear it whirring away, and you'll see the gimbal straighten out. Hopefully you'll see it move. Put it back a bit. And then I go to the Skydio app. Just simply launch the Skydio app. It says disconnected, sorry. Say Wi-Fi settings. You then go to the Wi-Fi settings. This is how simple it is. It's been hassle-free every single time. Then Skydio's there. You click it. You go back to the Skydio app. It says connecting. Pre-flight checks. Now it's probably going to look up and say, well, there's not enough clearance to actually take off. If it does, at that point it would say clear to take off. So you can see the time. It says ready to fly. It's good to go. I mean, that's it. And so you just click fly and it will then fly. Okay, and it says obstruction above. So it can obviously see that there's hardly any room at all to fly. So it ain't going to take off there. That's what it looks like. And then you've got hand launch here. So the time to actually get to launch is all that it takes. And literally I'd launch then, boom, turn it off, and away it goes. So it's hovered up, it's gone, and it's followed me. It's incredible. It's really incredible. At 1080, so you can dial this down, 1080 60 frames per second, 1080 30 frames per second, 4K at 30 frames per second. And so this setup at 1080 30 frames a second give you over 3 hours of record time. Have a quick look, see if it tells me exactly. 3 hours and 2 minutes, it says. And battery life, so the flight time, I've been seeing 15 minutes out of it. Now I bought a spare battery, which I'm glad I did, when I purchased this. And it's as simple, so you're running low on battery, press and hold for 3 seconds. It boots off, you go like that, and you go like that. Absolutely amazing piece of equipment. The charger block has been really, really useful. Rubberized bottom, but when it plugs in, that is ridiculously well weighted. So even when it's on a slight angle, it doesn't fall over easy. It's actually a very, very stable charge block. So from that point of view, that's been brilliant. Charge time seems to be about an hour or less, depending obviously the state of charge when you plug it in. But I've been plugging in and it's charged within an hour. You go back out again. Haven't successfully made it charge from USB. Not sure why not. Not sure even it's supposed to, but I can't seem to. But the plug and play of these is just incredible. I'll put this one back in because it's got a bit of battery usage now because it's been turned on. Never had anything go loose. It has worked absolutely perfectly. So, as I say again, look at the link below if you're really thinking about getting one of these. And if you've got any comments or questions on it, I'll be happy to answer. And I'll do another follow-up review on this probably in about 3 months' time. But so far, I reckon we've probably done 20 hours of filming on it, something like that. The firmware upgrades, there has been one since we purchased it, and to say something, that is a piece of cake as well. You literally say update, you connect to it, you say update, it downloads it and installs it, and it's done within a couple of minutes. So I think it took probably 2 to 5 minutes maximum to actually do the install and update, and there was no bugging out. It just did it and said ready to fly. Do you want to go and fly? It's like, okay, we will. So If you're on the verge of it, then go and follow, I would say, Skydio on Instagram. They keep posting videos that people have done. The camera quality is not the same as some of the amazing drones you get for doing landscape shots and things like that. If you want something that's going to go way above the trees and spin around and see lovely, rich, vibrant colours coming from the landscape, you're not going to get that in the same quality as you would do with the DJI product. If you want something that I'm going to be using it for, which is like riding a wheel, you could be riding a mountain bike, snowboarding, mountain boarding, all those sorts of things, those sort of activities where you want something to follow you close and through complex environments, you cannot go wrong with this. I mean, this thing is absolutely amazing. I can't say it enough. I really can't. All these cameras just make it amazing. Even with the smaller stuff, which it says it might not be able to see, even if it's really thin coming off trees, it just brushes it aside and it carries on flying. So stable. So the high winds, of course, are affected by the fact that it is encased. So the wind's buffeting against this. That's why in high winds. And over water it says don't fly. And I haven't even tried it because I'm not gonna ditch this into some water. But I've had no flyaways. I've had no disconnects. I have in terms of the phone. So the thing is, if you say to someone, go follow one of my kids or my dog, if it runs off and it goes out of range of the phone, that's an issue. And what it does then, actually, they've updated it with the latest firmware, is it actually try and track your phone. So it'll go back to your phone, which it did before. If it loses all signal, it says, I'm now going to try and find you via your phone signal. And it tries to follow you back and come back to you. So obviously, if you say to someone, oh, check this out, I'll get it to track you, and you run around this athletics track or something, unless you're running with them, you just need to give them your phone, basically. So you have to have that on you for it to work optimally. And that's the best way of doing it. So if someone's close by and you're near them, you're going to be following with them, that's fine. And you can change the record modes on the fly. So it can be recording, and you can say, actually, I want to change it from follow now, or quarter follow. I want you to lead. So you just get the app out, and you say lead, press the off button, lock the phone back in your pocket, and it goes woof and whips around in front of you, and then it leads. It is amazing. The cable cam thing, I use that to do a shot. I'll try and overlay this now. And I set up the A to B point, and it just flew into this shot. It was piece of cake, absolute piece of cake to do it. So yeah, if you've got any questions, I say I'll do a follow-up video. I'll see how I'm getting on. Maybe I've crashed it by then, it's damaged, or it doesn't last, or something like that. I don't know. But so far, it's been working flawlessly. And say with 20+ hours of recording on it, I've worked this drone more than I ever worked any of the DJI stuff I've ever had. The problems I've had, and it is just because of my usage. That's what I want it for. I want it to follow, and I want it to follow fairly close, not at 30 meters back. You know, I want it to follow, I want it to do it well, I want it to do it smoothly. And it does all of those things. As you can see from the overlays I've put in this video, it's been working absolutely perfectly. So, yeah, it's great. Sometimes the environment's too complex for it, and it just stops. When it'll hover there, and you think, I need to go back now and just sort this out. And you just get your app back out and say, here I am. And you can lower it down. So you've got some small movements you can make. So you can bring it forward, back, up and down within the app. And you can zoom as they pinch the zoom to say how far you want it to record, how close you want it to record you, and how far away you want it to be. But when it hangs up, it hovers there. It doesn't crash into anything. It doesn't go off somewhere and smashes some trees and fall into the ground. It just stays there. You just quickly whip back round again, because you're going to be fairly close to it anyway. And you just say, here I am, lower it down past that tree or guide it past and say start recording again, and off you go. But those are minimal times it does that. And I'm riding in pretty complex environments, and it does a good job. So thumbs up from me. And if you could thumb up this video, that would be brilliant. Subscribe and share it. And we will try and do our best to answer any questions that you have on it. But so far, so good. Until next time.